Now, let's introduce our panelist members one by one. Our first panelist member is Abhishek Daga, who is the co-founder for Nasher Miles. Put a huge round of applause for him, please. Welcome on stage, sir. Our second panelist member is Amit Sarda, who is the Managing Director of Soulflower. Please welcome him on stage. Welcome, sir. Our third panelist member name is Jasmit, Tibb, Managing Director, Tibb's Frankie. Welcome, sir. Our fourth panelist member name is Mr. Pradeep Krishnakumar, who is the co-founder for Zouk. Welcome, sir. Our fifth panelist member, Siddhartha Gondal, who is the co-founder of XYXX Apparel. Welcome, sir, and please put a huge round of applause for all our panelist members. Now, with due respect, I want to invite the person who would be leading this discussion. Please join me in welcoming our moderator, Mr. Kumar Rajagopalan, who is the CEO of Retailers Association of India. Please put a huge round of applause for him. And now, without further ado, I will hand over the discussion to our moderator, Mr. Kumar Rajagopalan. Over to you, sir.
Good morning. I'm told that if you clap loud, lots of people come into the room. So I know it's a bit early from the standards of the place that we are in, but I'm sure more people will come in. So thank you, gentlemen, for coming in. We've not done much of a rehearsal on this, and it's sometimes very useful not to have done a rehearsal. But we are also quite capable of creating some faux pas in this place. So if at all I do a faux pas, I'm already asking for forgiveness. But the thought of getting all of you... Check. Okay. The thought of getting all of you here was to try and understand what really makes D2C businesses work. And as some businesses would have been offline first and then got online, and some would have been online first and then offline, this whole concept around omnichannel is also got its own repercussions. So the thought was to ask what works, what doesn't work, what can be the lessons that all of us take from this, and also some tips, because I'm sure there are some youngsters sitting here and there are more youngsters and some not so young people would be coming into the room, and they'll want to know what should they do, what should they not do, and what can they avoid if we've already committed that mistakes. So the chance of making this panel successful is how we are able to create enough excitement amongst the people who are here, but more importantly, how are we able to spell out what we are really going through in our daily lives. Is that an okay thought for all of us? Okay. I've got a request to the audience here. Every time you get some pointer from the people here, which makes sense for you, which you think will go back as an idea with you, you've got to clap your hands. Is that okay? So that we know that you are here, you are awake, you are also listening to what's happening. But more importantly, if you do clap, it means that you've got a point in your brain that you will be able to go back and use in your own lives. So with that, we'll first introduce the businesses that we have. So we'll start off with Abhishek. Abhishek, how many of you bought any bag from Nasher Miles at all? You can raise your hand, don't feel shy. Okay, looks
time.
Like the whole world is available to you.
Yes, absolutely. I'm Abhishek Daga, co-founder at Nasher Miles. Just a year ago, we used to call ourselves an online-first D2C brand, but that's no longer the case. Now we are truly an omni-channel brand, present across more than 400 outlets across the country, as well as rolling out our own EBOs. That's something we had said we will do when we met at RAI in Feb. And we are also exploring other channels such as CSG, which is actually a big omni-channel, part of omni-channel. And also, we are exploring, global options, in the Middle East and Asia. So yeah, so that's us. You can see us at nashermiles.com.
It's such a wonderful thing. I don't know how many people can claim that they've opened up 400 stores. You're saying you opened up 400 places since
No.
February?
We are present in 400 locations, like 400
Yeah.
stores,
So you
MBOs.
got 400 selling points for you.
Selling points, yes. Yeah.
But that's 400 in the last 8 months?
No, we started in May. So May, June, July, August, September. 5 months.
Okay, maybe there is some kind of a record for the number of places that you can open up in a particular
Oh, yeah,
point.
but
We need to check.
we still have a long way to go.
So for some of you who are thinking that you can't expand fast enough, I think you've got somebody who can tell you what to do and how to really go about this. So thank you so much. We'll learn more about this as we go ahead. We've got Jasmit here. अगर आप लोगों ने हाथ नहीं उठाया ना अभी, that means that you guys are not eating at all. How many of you ever eaten Tibbs?
Oh, thank you so much, man. And you guys made my day, really.
So Jasmit, you want to tell the story of
Okay,
Tibbs because
so,
I think that's the one brand in this place which is older than me.
Well, yeah, it is definitely more than 30-year-old.
Oh yeah, okay. Thank you so much. He says it's more than 30, so I qualify.
All right, so my name is Jasmit Tibb. I can't call myself founder because I always give that credit to my father. My dad invented the word Frankie for all you guys. So in case you want to applaud for him, you can. So yeah, I am right now the flag bearer and the custodian of the brand. This brand was started in 1969, and we've been really blessed, guys. I mean, I really don't know how to use all the fancy words. All I know is that Tibbs Frankie, in its own way, has connected to people's hearts and through their palates. So if you talk about us growing, yes, in 2018 we converted from a family run to a corporate. I was not used to working with CEOs and vice presidents and being called chairman and being put in a cabin. I took that for a year, and then I said, yeah, I'm a chef by heart. I took the fry pan again and fried all the negativity away. So what we did now is that we were first in Mumbai till 2000. From 2000 till 2019 or 20, we started 400 brick and mortar stores in India. Everywhere we went, I think we did the omni-channel process through people's mindsets. Because at that time, we didn't have the technologies when we were expanding. It was a one-man show. Yes, we had a lot of people who cooperated just because, India had become cosmopolitan. Everybody was moving. The genre was not only specific to Maharashtra, it was everywhere. So everywhere we went to launch, there were people who had had a Frankie, who were there, and who guided us into how to get technology and how to reach people through multiple channels, how we tied up with a Spencer retail at that time at Chennai, how we tied up with, the White House group in Hyderabad, how did we do Spencer's and Reliance in Bangalore. Now we tied up with a chemist chain here. We are in DAKC, we are with the Ambanis, obviously being fortunate to cater for the wedding as well. So we have grown by connecting and giving people the experience, what they would get offline and online. We've not deviated from the basic thing, which has made Tibbs Frankie, which is the taste. So that's about it.
Thank you very much. I did hear one place where I wanted to clap. I don't know whether you guys felt like it. He said, I fried away all my worries by using a frying pan. I know that some of you may feel shy to touch a frying pan, but I, for one, really enjoy when I have to go into the kitchen and do something there. So thank you so much for that one more tip. I always suspected that's what's making it fry away. Now I know for sure. So we've got Siddhartha with us. I won't ask you how many of you use these products currently. Is it okay to ask in a common place? You should? So Siddhartha, I give the right to you to ask this.
How many of you have heard about XYXX? Nice. And how many of you are users? Okay, not bad. Chalo, very nice.
A potential user.
No, but you also have to count some of them who may not want to immediately say that here. So you multiply it by 2 and that's where you
Sure.
are. Okay.
Okay, how many of you can tell me what XYXX is? Anyone here? Sorry, what does XYXX mean? That's right, correct. So very quickly, I'm Siddhartha. I head sales for the brand. I'm also a co-founder. We have been on the journey to revolutionize the men's innerwear market initially and gradually expanded into the apparel domain for men's largely. We are into innerwear, loungewear, and athleisure. In terms of our sale points, we are an omnichannel brand. We are present on all marketplaces. We have our own website. We sell on quick commerce. We are present in Shoppers Shop. We have about 20,000 MBOs in which we retail across the country with about 200 distributors. We also are there in, so I think in a nutshell about 30 to 35% of our business is offline and balance is digital. So I'm happy to answer any of your queries with respect to what have we done right when it comes to offline, online, the expansion bit of it. And I can share my 2 cents on the same. We have also experimented with EBOs, so I can talk a little bit about that as well. Thanks.
Thank you so much. And since you talked about shoppers, I can't keep away from talking.
Sure.
One of the products that I'd always loved selling in shoppers is definitely undergarments. And you may think, why? Because of 2 reasons. One, when you start selling undergarments and it's something that the customer likes, they normally come back to the same store or to the same place. So it creates recency frequency better.
Correct.
The other thing is that undergarments, because of the way they are structured, is got very high what we call as stock density. So within 1 square feet of area, you can stock items worth a lot of money. And in a country like India, where per square feet yield is one of the biggest worries because of the cost that we pay for property, there are very few products that you can say are going to give you a good, what we call as GMROF, gross margin return on footage. So I love your products quite a bit. I think some parts of money does come in from, significant money does come in from undergarments. So
Yes, it does.
Thank you so much. Is there anybody in this room who's never heard of Amit Sarda? No, I'm not talking about the brand. Okay, how many of you heard of Amit Sarda before? Baat khatam hua. So now Amit is a brand. I know Amit has been involved with Retailers Association of India almost since inception. Thank you, Amit, for being involved and being one of those people who've taken complete ownership of Retailers Association of India in various forms. Okay, yeah. When we land into trouble, we normally go to Amit. But having said that, Amit, it's now your time to talk about your brand and what you do.
Namaskar. Thanks a lot for such a humbling recognition for me, my brand. I've always been very grateful to each and everybody at Try. So we are born in brick and mortar. हम ईंट के दुकानों में हमारा जन्म हुआ है, जहाँ पे कुमार जैसे लोगों के हाथ पकड़ के हमने हमारे ब्रांड को बढ़ाया है. You know, Kumar was with Shopper Stop, Crossword, and we grew in those kind of formats. 2001, we started with a very simple objective कि हम नेचर को, फार्म की चीज़ों को हम कैसे दुकानों में लेके आ सकते हैं. Where people like Shopper Stop, Lifestyle, then Pantaloons, West Side, they helped us to grow from there. 2020 something happened, you know, everybody went through a different process. We realized that now it's a time where people want things to come to them rather than they going to people. You know, to the stores. Like a lot of people will tell you कि हमने ज़्यादा stores बनानी है. We took a small pledge. We said we will not be more farther than them more than 10 minutes. So be it quick commerce today, be it anyway, I want to be close to my customer in a 10 minutes radius. मैं 10 minutes इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ, it might be a kilometer, in some places it might be a 2-3 kilometer range also, but I want to be closer to my customer. That is what I believe is omni-channel today. So be it quick commerce, be it your retail points, be it a 7-Eleven somewhere next door, or be it a store in the same property, I think the brand has to understand where the customer is, and that's what Soulflower has been working on. We are in a simple business. We make people and we help people to grow their hair and have a good skin. That's what we do. And और कई बार हम आपको अच्छा खुशबूदार भी बनाते in some of your events. So we are primarily an essential oil brand. So हर चीज़ की खुशबू जो आप परफ्यूम में यूज़ करते हो या आप सोप में यूज़ करते हो, anything, that's what we do. But thanks a lot having me here. And I'm always indebted to Rai. I was just telling Kumar that so many things, you know, in this 24 years of journey, I think if Rai was not there, I would have been paying more money for my all compliances and other things. So I should tell you, if any of you are brand and if you're not a part of Rai, you should definitely become a part of Rai.
Thank you, Ajay. I think I learned something in this, is that you've got to be available within 10 minutes of a customer. His thought process was way before the quick commerce journey came up, and I think that's a wonderful way of looking at it. I think सिर्फ वड़ा पाव मिलता है in Mumbai if you have to get it in 10 minutes. 10 मिनट के दूरी पे कोई ना कोई तो वड़ा पाव स्टॉल मिल ही जाएगा इधर पर. But I think that's a very nice way to commit yourself to the brand. That's a wonderful way of creating access as one thing, and I'm sure quick commerce has helped you, and we'll go into that part. There is one part where I don't want to clap for you. You never got my hair to grow. So I am unhappy, my wife is happy. And two, Javed Habib is also unhappy with you. Because the one thing that Javed always told me was, Kumar, kabhi to main tera baal kaatun yaar. Because he had done various records in this world, but the one thing he couldn't do was to cut my hair, even when I was 30 years of age. So, okay, yeah, okay. When I am, see, that was for him to tell me I'm still 30. So yeah, but I think it's wonderful what you've done. I did see some bus hoardings also with your wife's photographs there recently, and it's amazing how they really keep up their. I think the gusto with which you approach business is amazing, and thank you for everything you do.
Just to add a very small thing, you spoke about bus. You know, in this whole digital environment where, you know, you have such biggies and, you know, most of them are very well funded, the kind of money and the power they put behind digital today is become very crowded, I'll tell you. What we realized is what 30 साल पहले FMCG कंपनियों ने किया, be it radio, be it buses, be it holdings, we have actually gone back to that. We are actually going back to basics. अभी देख के then that Rishabh called me up, Plix वाला, he said मैं भी अभी तेरा देखा हूँ तो मैं भी बस कर रहा हूँ. Anurag is from Pilgrim is doing holdings. I think, you know, the things have started changing. We are going back to basics again. It might not be like to our surprise that people might do those small things which people did it frugally years ago. So I think things are changing again. Things are going back to basic. Might be in a different environment, different form. You know, the visuals might be different. So I think that's the time where I am looking forward to now.
Thank you so much. This was not rehearsed, but I had this as a question for him. But I think I instead of a question, I made a statement and he caught the question immediately about the buses. I wanted to know how to really market and take things forward, and I think it's amazing that it's happening that way. And then, of course, we've got Pradeep with us. Do you want to ask them a question?
No, would love to understand how many of you have heard of Zouk? Great, awesome. And any customers of Zouk here, past, current? Awesome. Right. Thank you. No, very happy to sort of hear that.
One thing, Pradeep, the people who are customers have got this huge beaming smile on their faces, if you see that very closely. So obviously, whoever is using your product is happy about it. So that's a feedback from what I saw from customers' faces here.
No, always happy to meet customers. That's where we learn a lot. Just quickly introducing Zouk for others. At Zouk, we're building a modern Indian lifestyle brand. All our products are proudly Indian. Not just because they're made in India, but very India-inspired in our prints and designs. Thank you. We're also a PETA-approved vegan brand, so all products are cruelty-free. Predominantly, the DNA has been online heavy, so we are also learning offline as we scale up from here. So excited to sort of share some 0 to 1 things that we have done so far, but so much to be learned from everyone here. In fact, almost 18 years back, and yeah, I am still 18 years old, so about 15 years back, we used to stay close to Shivaji Park, and Tibb's Frankie was the go-to place for me and my friends. So happy to meet sir here, to have created such a legendary brand. So a lot of inspiration for all of us here to learn from everyone here as well, Kumar.
Thank you so much. I think you did talk about eating tips, right? So your understanding of what happens when you eat tips is slightly redefined now. So sirf chehra ka speciality doesn't improve. It's also about businesses getting made by it.
See, I know what happens when you eat tips, Frankie. My father allows me to get married to the woman I loved. That was the first thing that happened to me. That was the outlet was Shivaji Park. So my wife is a South Indian. And being a North Indian, Dad said, if you really unleash the potential of Tibbs Frankie, you can. Because if you have passion in your heart for the brand, you'll be a good husband. He was right about one part. I leave that to you all to guess which part. But no, yeah, I mean, I really feel humbled and blessed. Yeah, I mean, really, this gentleman called us all the biggies, but भाई साहब मैं आज भी आप जैसा ही सोचता हूँ. मैं आज भी वो सोचता हूँ कि जितना simple रखें. See, Tibbs Frankie is all about being simple. You eat one in Chennai, you eat one in Hyderabad. Any new launches, you'll see Jasmit Tibb standing at the back. And not worried about which media person wants to come and talk to me. Worried about that every hot plate, every person there, is he going to get the right Frankie in their hearts? So I think that you can say is the power of Tibbs Frankie. हम सीधा यहाँ से यहाँ जाते हैं.
Very, 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 very well done. I think sometimes when you simplify business and know what you really stand for, it's much easier to do business, and I'm sure we've learned it from him. Now I'm just asking Abhishek to come back on this. Abhishek, you've been an online brand, and it's been quite some time. You started about
Since 2017.
2017,
Yeah,
right?
we launched
So
in middle of 2017.
Yeah, so it's now about 8 years for you, almost.
Yeah.
Almost. So 7 years. So what made you open up an online business? One, and I do know that the business that you are in was always ruled by the biggies,
Right.
And you had to really have a lot of guts to come and do what you did, because I would never have thought in my lifetime that there would be one rank outsider who will suddenly start selling luggage to people. I know the amount of mess that goes in people's minds. So tell us about this journey, one. Secondly, what have you learned from this as a synopsis?
Yeah. So, coming back to what made us enter luggage, just a brief recap from 2014 to 2017, we started off as online aggregators. Those were the days where Amazon, Flipkart had just started expanding in India, and they just wanted people to come in, and unglamorous as it sounds, bottom line is, for any business, is the bottom line: buy low, sell high. That was all there was to it. They said, हमको धंधा करना है, आप लोग एक काम करो, just buy A, B, C, D, E, sell at price XXX, जो भी loss होगा, discount होगा, वो हम आपको देंगे. And that's how they got a few of retailers like us in, quite a few of us, like online aggregators, online retailers in. Over time, then what happened was, then they realized that, these guys, इनसे तो scale up होगा नहीं, ये लोग तो burn नहीं करते हैं, they're only looking after profit. So that's when the likes of Cloudtail, Apparel came in. When those people came in with the deep pockets, ability to burn more, naturally, a Cloudtail is Murthy backed and Apparel is Patni backed, so they have different, deep pockets. So that's when we decided, okay, now what do we do next? Now, since we were online aggregators across 100 plus categories, dealing with 100 brands, we knew that luggage was a great market. Now, we did our studies, appliances mein jayein, luggage mein jayein. So we said, okay, let's take a bet. Luggage seems like a good market for a number of reasons. See, bottom line is your gut feel. That is there, but other than that, it was data driven. We knew that luggage as a category is only 35%. As you said, biggies are there, but the biggies were only like 30-35% of the market. Rest were all, unbranded. It was an unbranded market per se. Plus, in the online space, luggage being a voluminous product was not really present, and the likes of VIP, Safari, Samsonite didn't really care to go online. It's a chicken and egg thing. For them, online was very small in 2017. So we said, okay, this is a good space to be in. Chalo karte hain, dekhte hain kya hoga. And that's how we started. While it was a little bit of data-driven and, some analysis, ultimately the last step was based on gut feel. So let's do it. And then once being there, I think there was no rocket science. It was all about, as people keep, a lot of times I'm hearing this, with various panelists, back to the basics, the fundamentals, and I think that is what we implemented every stage, whether it was related to, our operations, keep it small, keep it, scale iteratively, don't go all like, expand and burn. As a lot of people relate D2C to. You don't have to. You can take your time, you can grow and reach at a substantial place. I'm not saying we have reached like some major peak or we are the market leaders yet. However, this is how long it takes to build a sustainable, sustainable business. And I think that's what we have done. going online, after online, naturally, using performance marketing, which was our main driving force, being a bootstrap company, we didn't spend much on branding. We did not have the heart to, burn X amount of money just for branding. We said, okay, let's do it over time, let's grow. And so performance marketing was our key driver. But with performance marketing, you can probably take a brand from 0 to 100. And that's what we did. From revenue of 0 to 85 CR is when we closed the previous year. Beyond that, it has to stop being a push brand and you have to start being a pull brand. Now, in the pull brand, you have to do branding. Not only that, and then you also have to be present in offline. That's how Omnichannel came about. Because like it or not, even today, 75% of India does shop offline. So if I'm not present offline, I'm removing 75% of my market. So, but offline has its own challenges. So we took our time, we built our base, we built the brand, and that's how we started our omni-channel journey in May of 2024. And as I mentioned in the introduction, we are present across 400 plus places right now, and the target is to go to be present by the end of this year in 1,000 plus stores, and at least have 3 EBOs, our exclusive brand outlets by then.
Wow. At least 3 places where you could have clapped. I don't know whether you picked it up or no. I think it's come back to keeping the business simple. That is for sure. You also spoke about the fact that you've got to start thinking about the brand and rather than push marketing, do a pull marketing. I think that's a huge lesson in marketing that many who are aspiring to create brands have to really realize and do that switch over at really quick steps, right? It's not easy.
Yeah, so each
and
store,
it's expensive
right?
sometimes.
It is. So, it is expensive, not sometimes, it is expensive, managing the level of inventory and, getting shelf space for a bulky product, unlike, XYXX, as you said, it does take a lot of space. So how do you fit in? But the good thing is in Omni-channel, when you're present in stores, each hoarding outside every store is your marketing element,
Wow, that's another thing. I've heard of at least 8 people recently who told me that the offline spaces for marketing is one of the businesses they are looking at, and as an asset management process. This kind of reiterates that thought process. I'll go to Pradeep from here because you also sell products. You also sell luggage also with you, right? Some parts of what you sell luggage?
Just recently launched.
Recently. Yeah. So. I know for sure that when in Shoppers, I was finding it very difficult to start selling luggage even from within the store. And NP Singh from Samsonite was here yesterday, and he keeps giving the story of how he had to arm twist me to try and get his products inside, because I said, yeah, same thing. Undergarments, much easier to keep, lots more product per square feet, versus this luggage which is 4,000 rupees. In those days, 3,000 rupees and 4,000 rupees was the luggage that would be even the Samsonite at that time. And इतना बड़ा यार 3.5 square feet, 4.5 square feet, कौन देगा तुमको जगह? Okay, so he had to prove to me, and ultimately I gave him a toilet in the store to try and sell his products. So this is the story of Samsonite going offline into MBOs. So how do you see businesses now growing? How do you see online, and what are the learnings that you've got initially from online when you started doing business?
Sure. So for us, both as founders, we don't come from a business background, right? It was very hard to even convince our folks that after doing an MBA, why do you want to go do a business, right? Take up a job, be happy in life in that sense, right? But so really being bootstrapped, and we were bootstrapped for a good 4-5 years, meant that for a small brand from Chembur in Mumbai to sell pan-India, online was sort of the only avenue, right? So we lapped up to it, because online, I truly believe, is still as I like to say, a pay-as-you-go model, right? So you can pay as much and sort of keep scaling, right? You don't have to upfront do a lot of things to kick off, right? Which is how sort of the online journey started for us. Few things were clear that from a brand point of view, the proposition of what we sort of give, both in terms of what the brand stands for and what the product has to sort of talk about, had to be very clear, which means very clear guardrails on what we will do, but more so what we will not do, right? Had to be clear. So that is something that we established over a period of time. There were no products which were having Indian designs. Almost all handbags at that point and majorly even now are sort of Western copies with different branding on it. So we said, okay, there is a gap for it. Now what we need to really find is a, as we classically like to say, product market fit, to say, are there enough customers who would buy these products of this design language, this brand promise, and this price point? And that's what was the discovery for us on the online side. And of course, we started with D2C. We would narrate our story on Instagram and sort of scale that up. And then we said, okay, there is a certain amount of awareness about the brand, like what we saw in the room, right? A lot of hands raised, which means we have to be in other online channels like Amazon, Myntra, etc. And that's how we sort of scaled up online. Of course, the realization, very similar to what Abhishek said, was 75% of India still buys offline. We need to be there where the customers are going, and that's where we kicked off our offline journey, and that's where it started. I mean, the reality is this, right? I mean, I know that all the sort of modern trade guys look at Jimroff and say, it's a never-ending story, right? Frankly, I think the way we need to now relook that model is to say, okay, consumers are looking for these products. They want to touch and feel these products. And many of the other categories are actually going more online heavy. So the one challenge with the 75% number also is it's very misleading, right, sometimes. Because for some categories, online is actually far higher, right, and where all the modern trade guys have to shift. And in fact, my view, and I'm saying this out loud, is I think for me the biggest thing that quick commerce is probably going to disrupt, I feel, is actually modern trade, right? Because they're getting the assortment, very limited assortment, multi-brand, quick service for that. So either if I want to look at multiple brands and I have time, I'll go to a mall and go to every brand's own store, right? Or I can just take a very limited selection from quick commerce and be done with it. So modern trade guys have to sort of reinvent themselves to say, okay, Jimroff, but you make Jimroff only if you sell, right? If not, it's actually free banner space for the brands, right? So I think in that equation is where luggage, handbags, and many of the other volumetric products will sort of come. And I mean, we've seen what Nasher Miles has done, what many others have done in sort of saying that, okay, this is not a functionality only category, right? Style matters, right? And if that is happening, I say the channels need to adopt this as fast as the brands adopting the channels. So at least that's my high level sort of view on this.
So thank you so much. No claps? What did you learn? So to me, the fact is that you don't need to start with a big bang. You don't need to really get worried. And I have always maintained that online commerce has ensured that there is no barriers to entry into a business, which was otherwise about space, money, huge, deep pockets. Suddenly, everybody can come in and do, as long as you've got an idea, a product, a service that you want to provide to the consumers, and if you've got focus towards that, you can start and scale up. And I think that's the beautiful thing about an omnichannel world, that you can all adopt and take up. You had something
One
to
of
say?
my investors says this really well. He says, this is the easiest time to start a brand, and hence it's the hardest time to build a brand. Right? Because so many brands are coming in.
Absolutely. So, Amit will shift the gear, because I know that you've been in this business long, and you also have your own experiences of what a retailer should do, what they shouldn't do, what a seller shouldn't do, and a whole lot of things are changing around the whole supply chain angle in this business. Okay, so maybe you can tell us about what's happening to this whole supply chain in this omni-channel modern era that you are seeing. And you may also tell us about where are you selling, what are you seeing as new trends, etc.
I want to set one context. We have two bagwalas, and my experience and how supply chain changes. So supply chain is nothing but it is the demand which is created somewhere, and you need to really suffice it, or aapko usko deliver karna hai. Just 1 minute I'll take. I was in a store in a Shipra Mall in Ghaziabad of Shoppers Stop years ago. I go there, and the store manager takes me around, shows me the whole store. Then he takes me to a basement where there was a huge section of luggage. And I had never seen such a huge section of luggage in any Shoppers Stop, because how Kumar spoke about, Jimroff ka challenge ho sakta hai. Now I go there and I ask him, how come you have so much of range of luggage here? So he said, sir, come with me and ask people how they sell the luggage. Now Ghaziabad being Ghaziabad, I asked them, do people fly so much from here that itni luggage hai? He said, nahi sir, there are luggages with sizes. 50 peti, 1 khoka, 2 khoka. Now, I don't know how many people have understood this thing. I was very shocked. मैं बोला ये क्या चक्कर है? बोले सर ये तो कैश इकोनॉमी वाला है. गाजियाबाद थर्रे की जगह है नो. I don't know how many people know Ghaziabad. Ghaziabad is an industrial zone, but Ghaziabad is also one of the big manufacturers of liquor, spirits, and that was so surprising. So sometimes in supply chain, before that you have to actually understand what is that product doing for who. So for us also, our journey started in a very interesting manner. Essential oils, everything started. 2000 came in and COVID came in. One sudden day, we started pushing ourselves online. One of our product suddenly got like skyrocketed, became the number 1 on Amazon. Now number 1 Amazon पे हो गया, हमें भी idea नहीं क्या हो रहा है. 70,000 glance views, people came in, checked everything. I get a call from Aditya Joshi Beauty. He said, Amit, have you done some external effort? I said, no external effort. हम उस product को बेचते थे for good smell, pure essential oil. Now I realize there is some influencer somewhere sitting in Mumbai, Mira Road, spoke about that product, being a big TV star, and that product went viral. Now why people were buying that product was hair thickening. We were selling that product for basically just a good smell, good sleep, har cheez hai. Now how the product objective, what a brand is selling for, and what a consumer is perceiving is two different things. And that's where supply chain comes into play. So we realized, boss, हमारे तो प्रोडक्ट सारे हेयर केयर में लगते हैं. हम लोग तो दुकानों में बेचते थे, तो we used to sell at smell like shopper stop lifestyle कि चलो खुशबू के लिए हम बेच रहे. But then we realized this same product, people are actually searching these products online for their hair growth, hair thickening, hair fall control. And we realized, boss, this is a much bigger opportunity. हम क्या कर रहे हैं दुकानों में? And that's where our journey became more profound in hair care. Now comes a problem, supply chain. How do you manufacture faster? How do you deliver faster? How do you make sure that you are doing in a better manner? So our challenge was wide SKUs. जब आप retail में काम करते हो, I'm sure XYXX he spoke about, you have a very wide assortment. आपका इतना बड़ा assortment होता है, 100 SKUs, 200 SKUs. Now online you can't become a king or a queen if you have such a large assortment. What you do is simple. आप जाके कटाई करते हो, छटाई करते हो. कटाई का मतलब है first आप छटाई करते हो कि what you want to really sell online. Then you cut it down कि what SKUs you want to put it. Is it 15 ml, 30 ml, 100 ml depending upon what sizes might move. We started doing that. Again then we realized that as a company we were always been bootstrapped. So we realized that either I can focus my whole attention on 10 products, 5 products or 1 product. So we said 1 product, 1 channel. हमने हमारा रोजमेरी को पकड़ा जो हमको हमारे लिए सबसे अच्छा प्रोडक्ट है. And we said कि let's get on to Amazon first. Let's push Amazon, make our product number 1. Now again, the demand is there. How do I supply? Yeah, might be a marketplace, or he spoke about cloud till then now, which is RK World. You have to make sure you are closer to your customer. That time we said कि हमको 10 मिनट के अंदर रहना है. We went to pharmacies, we Wellness Forever, Noble Plus, Apollos of the world, making sure कि हर जगह पे हमारा product ही available है. You have to have visibility, you have to have the product in place, and this whole supply chain for us became value chain. Why I'm saying value chain? I have to make money, Apollo has to make money, Amazon has to make money, every person in the system has to make money. So supply chain can only be effective if you consider it as a value chain where everybody creates some value out of that game. Otherwise, you can't make money. So this is what I had my own learning, and this is how we modulated our supply chain. Now, again, we realize that we have to sell freshness. People are expecting very fresh products. So again, COVID time was there. We actually went out in a place in Rajasthan. We got a land. We set up our own farm. We grow most of the ingredients, Kumar. We have our own farm in Rajasthan, in Partapur, Baswada district, 2 hours away from Udaipur, a very beautiful zone. Plus, we are an ESG company. We have certain social development goals. So we realize it's a tribal zone. All the people who work in my plant and in our farm, they're all tribals. Now, interesting part was, for us, we realized that can we make it more effective? Will it take us time to train people? No. Interesting part is, we realize we have to train people more in a city like Mumbai, where people are distracted, vis-a-vis when you go to a very small place, where they see an opportunity to, what is the average salary for anybody in Partapur is 5,500 rupees as per government norms. let's say we pay 12,000 rupees. So for them now that 12,000 rupees from a 5,000 rupees jump is so big that they focus their day and night like an entrepreneur. कि मेरे को यही करना है. I want to learn how to make soap. I want to make sure that I do the right thing in when packaging a bottle. So the kind of focus they gave us changed our, the whole destiny. And that's where we could create another value there. We could make sure that people working with us also make more money. So again, coming back to that supply chain to value chain, this is what I think as a brand we could explore. So that's it. Thanks.
Fantastic. I think you had your washing machine lassi moment also in your own life. Huh? Thanks to that. All of us have heard about the story of the washing machine being used to make lassi, right? So he's also had his own moment on that. I think it's amazing how he talks about. I also love the fact that you're using some amount of giving back to the society in the form that you're doing. I think it's part of what businesses have to be, and that's really heartwarming. I did tell yesterday in the start of this session that all of us are fighting for share of watch of customers. It's not about pocket anymore. Pocket to बढ़ता जा रहा है. I mean, everybody is getting all kinds of finance now. Consumer finance in a in a CDIT product business is now about 70%. So paisa to hai. I think it's about getting them to really even spend that few seconds with you to say that I'm going to spend money.
So I think, share of voice, share of wallet. So share of goodness is very important. I don't know how many of you have come to Soulflower, but I remember Lawrence coming recently with one of your guy. I told him, if you're coming to my office, so we have 2 buildings. I said, if you're coming to my office, you have to be loving life. So वो मेरे को पूछा उसका मतलब क्या है loving life? I said, see, in my office, if you step up, it's a 3-story, 2 buildings. I said, every floor you will find a cat or a dog. So in my company, we love life. Anything which is living, be it our plants, be it our animals, be it our humans. So that is where the magic, I think Meenakshi has also, I remember talking to her. So I think that is what it is. So I think share of goodness is something which I will put very rightly.
Good one. I do have to clarify one thing about the Samsonite story. After he got the toilet, NPC made sure that he created better throughput. Okay, the challenge I knew was not about per square feet stock, but it's about per square feet sales. So he ensured that the throughput got better, our supply chain got changed dramatically, and slowly he started getting center stage in the store. Okay, so this does happen. We all learn. We sometimes do mistakes, and then we suddenly realize, ये तो गलत सोचा था यार, अलग होना चाहिए था, and then life changes. So it's a beautiful category. I do love it. Now I go back to the category that Siddhartha does. Siddhartha, for you, it's been a long journey. So if you can tell us through what you've done so far, and where do you see this category going at all? I for one believe that this category has got this huge infinite capabilities to really expand. I would like everybody to change their undergarments at least once in 3 months. I don't know whether you've got a lesser time frame in your mind. So how do you want things to go?
No, I'm looking at the clock there. I think I have something. Sure, and I'll be mindful that sir has to speak, so not to worry there.
No, I'm asking the other way around. I'm telling that people have to change their undergarments once in 3 months at least.
I really hope they do, but currently still in India, people wait for the hole to appear. Okay, nevertheless, I think I'll go back to 2017 when we were starting off, right? Back then and even today, for an aspiring Indian man, there is only one brand that is there, right? And they are the market leader. And they transcend price points, right? From say a 150 rupees underwear to say a 700 rupee underwear, right? Complete market dominance. और उनके बाद सिर्फ आते हैं आपके mass brands, रूपा, लक्स, अमूल, डिक्सी, डॉलर, everyone 1,000 crore brands, and they have been 1,000 crores for the last 15-20 years, right? Jockey has been one brand जो 2005 से लेके अभी तक, it has grown from 100 crores to 4,500 crores, right? So that's because they have transcended the entire market from an age, from a geographical sense, from a price bracket sense, everything, right? And they have done a fantastic job around it. So जब हम 2017 में start कर रहे थे, we said यार how do we beat them, right? And we said कुछ तो अलग करना पड़ेगा. So we said कि पहले तो क्या-क्या चीज़ों में हम उनसे better कर सकते हैं. And the thought came up that why don't we innovate on the fabric, because India में traditionally cotton is what sells, right? And people have been used to wearing it. So we said कुछ नया fabric लेके आ सकते हैं, and therefore a thought came micromodal as a fabric, right? It is 3 times softer than cotton. It is naturally antibacterial. So very good for the Indian environment. Why don't we test it out? Now, when you are just starting off and you don't have money, the easiest channel, as everyone has pointed out here, is digital, right? In the current times, right? I'm not talking about, say, 50 years back, but in the current times, it is online, right? But you also have to understand that underwear is a very low ASP product, 200 rupees product. 2017 पे 96-97% of the market offline होता था, right? 2-3% was digital at that point of time. I know this because इससे पहले मैं आदित्य बिरला ग्रुप में था, and I was with Van Heusen brand और उसका innerwear setup कर रहा था, so I had some idea around it. So when we were starting off in 2017, we said low ASP product, not a product that men would talk to each other about, right? कि हाँ यार मैं तो ये पहनता हूँ, तू क्या पहनता है, ऐसे तो discussion नहीं होता about innerwear, right? So we have to do something different to get the consumer to try our product. So we went to Amazon, we went to Flipkart. वो बोलते हैं यार सूरत का ब्रांड है, कुछ तो शेडी बना रहे होगे, क्यों रखें आप लोगों को, राइट? सो एंड at that point of time, and even today, Surat is considered to be like कि हाँ कुछ तो गड़बड़ चल रही है, right? So we said, चलो फिर भी try करते हैं. So it took a lot of effort to convince these guys that we are setting up a brand. So we made some products, launched them online, right? Now micromodal as a fabric was only supplied by one company at that point of time, Austrian-based company called Tencel. अब उसका सप्लाई चेन इंडिया में इतना रोबस्ट और एग्जिस्ट नहीं करता था फॉर दिस, तो पहले उनसे मिले जाके वी काइंड ऑफ सेट अप द एंटायर कि हाँ इफ़ वी हैव टू स्केल इफ दिस प्रोडक्ट रियली टेक्स ऑफ, कैन वी रियली एक्सपैंड दैट प्रोडक्ट इन द कंट्री. तो फिर उनसे सप्लाई चेन पूरा समझा, राइट? क्वालिटी कंट्रोल बिकेम वेरी क्रिटिकल कि हाँ बिकॉज फर्स्ट टाइम वी आर डूइंग इट, वी डोंट नो वेदर दिस प्रोडक्ट रियली वुड टेक ऑफ, पीपल वुड लाइक इट. सो क्वालिटी कंट्रोल से लेके एवरीथिंग we kind of set up the entire ecosystem for manufacturing of this product in the country, right? हमारा in-house नहीं है, everything is outsourced, right? So we only quality check the entire garment process in terms of कहाँ से आप source कर सकते हो. We have our nominated vendors for it. Then we went from one manufacturer in say Maharashtra, so now our entire currently production is based in Tirupur, right? And where most of the manufacturing of this particular garment happens. पहले lot of the big players don't accept you initially, and this is a challenge lot of startups will face कि वो बोलेंगे यार आपका volume ही नहीं है तो हम आपको क्यों दें जगह, right? But as you scale up, you have to start engaging with them, you have to show them the confidence कि हाँ मैं यहाँ से लेकर यहाँ तक जाऊँगा, आप start तो करो. So initially they'll ask you for a higher price, they charge you more, and eventually that journey happens wherein they say कि हाँ मतलब there's a win-win for everyone, right? Then as you expand, you also realize that India has an expertise in certain products, right? When we were going from innerwear to say outerwear, right? And we said to give the right price point to the consumer, and in terms of the high standards of quality that we want to maintain, India में वो supply chain exist नहीं करती, तो क्या करें? Then we went to China, Bangladesh, and some of these markets. Eventually found a good place in Bangladesh. So I think in that sense you have to be flexible कि मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि हाँ इंडिया में ही करना है या ये करना है. इट डिपेंड्स अपॉन, वाइल आई एम वेरी पैट्रियोटिक, बट डजंट मीन कि मतलब फॉर द गुड ऑफ द बिजनेस यू हैव टू मेक श्योर यू गेट वट एवर इज द बेस्ट फ्रॉम वेर एवर इट इज़ द बेस्ट, राइट? सो वी वेंट टू बांग्लादेश, वी काइंड ऑफ सेट अप द एंटायर सप्लाई चेन इन द लास्ट 1 year. वी हायर्ड पीपल हु न्यू हाउ थिंग्स वर्क देयर. अभी बांग्लादेश इज नॉट इन अ गुड शेप, बट नेवरदलेस we have been able to kind of build that supply chain to make sure that we are able to offer to the consumer, right, at the right price point with the right set of quality standards. So this is more about how we set up the entire ecosystem around the manufacturing point of it. Now from the front end, right, 97% of the market offline, 3% of the market digital. But we were sure कि innerwear is one thing, अगर आपने एक बार पहन लिया, right, and men are very sticky when it comes to their innerwear, right? So old people will not adopt us, young people will adopt us. Young people कहाँ पे present है? Young people digitally present है. So let's target the right consumer initially. So we went to marketplaces first. Low ASP product D2C से नहीं बेच सकते, मतलब 200 रुपीज़ की अंडरवेयर बेचने में मेरा क्या कितना हाई होगा कि मैं अपनी वेबसाइट से बेचूंगा तो I'll keep burning. So we said website is not an option. Marketplaces is the thing at that point of time, and we launched there. We grew it, and then we said कि चलो as we want to be closer to the consumer now. We started from Gujarat, विथ MBO एक्सपेंशन एक टीम हायर करी, राइट, बहुत अच्छे अच्छे एक्सपर्ट्स हायर करे. उसके बाद हमने 6 महीने चलाया, पता चला मार्केट में डंपिंग हो रही है, टर्शियरी नहीं हो रही है. So right, it is like कि माल. So what I mean by that is primary is happening to from a company to a distributor and then from a distributor to a retailer, but वो retailer से माल उधर ही घूम रहा है, retailer और distributor के बीच में tertiary नहीं हो रही है, right? So I over the last 3 or 5 years of running offline, at बीच में COVID भी आया and lot of things happened, and for a young brand like us, it was a very big challenge to figure out how to scale up offline with such challenges in place where you do not have complete market pull, right? You are still pushing your products, right? And wherein the offline ecosystem is not very helpful in helping you track some of these metrics. तो फिर हमने 2 years back एक बहुत conscious decision लिया, इस channel को हम crazily expand नहीं करेंगे, right? But first हम इसमें technology implement करना चालू करेंगे. So we employed distribution management software at every distributor, right? To take stock of कि वो कितना माल ले रहे हैं, कितना बेच रहे हैं, क्या हो रहा है, right? टीम को भी बहुत sensitize किया, बोला कि यार dumping नहीं करनी है, right? Don't have to just do primary. You have to figure out कि enter the right retailers, figure that out. उनके यहाँ क्या बिक रहा है, उसके analogous आप माल supply करो to the distributor, right? And we are still tracking it. So in the last 2 years, we have not scaled our offline crazily. In fact, we have reduced the number of distributors and the retail points what we had say about 2 years back, and we still do the higher number than that, right? And that is purely because we said कि हमको expansion से कुछ नहीं होगा, expansion से focus lose होगा, and we need to create pull in the markets where we are present. We need to go deeper in the geographies where we are already present, gather more retailers over there, and then kind of उन retailers को कैसे grow करें, इस पे ज़्यादा focus करना है, rather than कि मतलब 50,000 retailer point पे पहुंच जाऊंगा, 40,000 पे पहुंच जाऊंगा. That's not the ambition. So that's from an MBO footprint standpoint. From a EBO standpoint, we said let's start an experiment. हमने सोचा उस point of time पे let's these will become like hoardings for us, as he pointed out, right? And as a brand, we wanted to create the excitement around what products we are making for customers to first-hand experience those products and talk about it and give us feedback. क्योंकि marketplaces में ये आपको नहीं मिलता है, right? ना ही आपको retail, MBO retail में ये feedback मिलता है. आपको D2C से मिल सकता है this particular feedback wherein you are directly selling to the consumer or your own stores, typically, right? So we said let's set up these 5 stores. We were conscious कि हाँ हम लोग बॉम्बे, सूरत इसके अराउंड ही रहना चाहेंगे, and we set up about 5 stores in the last 1 year. See, stores में again I'll come to stores में क्या होता है, location, location के बाद कितने walk-in आ रहे हैं आपके पास, walk-in से आप कितना convert कर पा रहे हो, conversion के बाद आपका AOV क्या निकल रहा है, right? With innerwear, we realized it is impossible to make money क्योंकि एक innerwear का ASP 200 रुपये, 250, 300 रुपये होता है, तो मेरी basket size अगर 10 भी चले जाए तो भी 3,000 रुपये का बिल बन रहा है, right? So we said this is one journey wherein we know कि how much walk-ins we are able to attract and we can work on attracting more walk-ins. But unless we are able to solve for the AOV piece, right, wherein we are able to introduce more apparel, more basket building opportunities for the consumer, this is one channel which will be very difficult to scale, right? And Jockey is a beautiful example around it. मतलब they, in their stores they will have men, women, innerwear, athleisure, and about 60% of their business in stores happens from athleisure as a category. It's not innerwear per se, although they are dominant innerwear player in the market. So some of these things we figured out, and as we are now currently expanding our outerwear portfolio, once we are successful in that, is when we'll scale up our ABO expansion.
Are you available on quick commerce?
Quick commerce, yes. Quick commerce was a natural fit because marketplaces pay over a period of time. We are now the number 2 digital player after Jockey in men's innerwear, right? So, and trunks as a category which people are adopting increasingly. On Amazon, we sell almost 90-95% of what Jockey sells in this particular category. So, like we are an extremely dominant player. So, जब Omnichannel, जब quick commerce को start करना था, so they after Jockey we were the first people there.
Because you are the only guy who's got a cricketer in his undergarment.
KL Rahul, right? उसकी भी story है. If time permits, I'll talk about it, right?
We don't have too much, yeah.
हाँ, but not too much.
But you need to tell about KL Rahul. I mean, it's
सी अगर आप मास ब्रांड्स का फिलोसफी देखो, ये हमेशा फिल्म स्टार्स को लेके आते थे, राइट? एंड वी सेड कि हमको कुछ अलग करना पड़ेगा. अलग करने के लिए आजकल की न्यू जनता, द न्यू ऑडियंस, they want to be more healthy, they look up to sports people, etc. And from there, KL Rahul at that point of time was touted to be the next superstar. मतलब उसको he was supposed to be the new captain of the Indian cricket team. मतलब with that thought process, फिर हमने वो माइकल जॉर्डन की बहुत अच्छी बायोग्राफी भी पढ़ी थी, तो हमने बोला हमारे साथ भी वो वाव मोमेंट हो सकता है, right? And then we said कि चलो let's try him out. We also have done a few campaigns with him. I think it's something that each brand has to decide for themselves. For us, in our case, we said कि let's try him out. The first campaign was beautiful. Second, and after that we realized कि हाँ हमको थोड़ा पैसा और लगेगा, क्योंकि अगर आप सुपरस्टार हायर करते हो तो आपको सिर्फ कंटेंट बनाने में नहीं, बट कंटेंट को डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करने में भी बहुत पैसा लगता है.
So that's a moment. I think the one thing that I've heard quite often from many of the retailers is that they get some star, and then at some point of time they know that they've kind of overreached, and they're not able to really use it as good as they can.
Yeah, so I think there's a time when you can hire a
Abhishek also has
superstar,
thought,
and
yeah.
I think if you have money to spend around him, then do hire him. If that person fits into your brand ethos and what you, from a target audience perspective. So I've shared a lot in terms of learnings, mistakes, etc., what we have done, and hopefully some takeaways for people.
Thank you so much. I have to ask Jasmit one thing before I go to the others. I know that everybody looks at various products and it has its own idiosyncrasies or its own specialities. Food has always been an enigma in my mind, okay? Because whatever it is always quick commerce, wherever you are. क्योंकि मुझे अब खाना चाहिए तो तब का तब चाहिए. There is always this freshness quotient. There is always this dump rates in the nights. And people who work in food industry, I think they've got this enormous capacity to work for really long hours. क्योंकि when they are going to go back home is when these guys are at their peak. You need to tell us what makes people work in this business, one. And secondly, what are those things that one need to be careful about when somebody wants to get into a food business? You see various channels and you see people are becoming chefs, they are doing this, they are doing that. Oh, uska charm kuch alag hai. But I can't see myself ever getting into that business and feeling that charm, because at that time I'm toiling. So you need to tell us the do's and don'ts.
Okay, first of all, you need to tell me how much time I have. Because everybody says that they're looking at the clock.
Can you do it in 2 minutes? No,
It's very tough for me because I normally start with emotions and then I get back into business. Okay, but I'll try.
But key points.
Key points.
Yeah.
The first point, you said that people in our industry work really long hours, which is very true. You see, that happens only if you have hospitality in your DNA.
Yeah.
When we are selected, I mean, I come from a very prestigious institute called IHM, which is Institute of Hotel Management and Catering Technology. At our times, there were 2 lakh people who appeared, 2,000 pass, and only 100 are taking into Mumbai. I was fortunate. At that time, there are 7 of us, 7 people who are there. And you walk in, you know, you're still fresh out of your, what do you call it, the 12th standard. We call them A levels because I'd come back from the UK. But, you know, you come there and you've got 7 people staring at you. And, you know, on your pathway, there was little crumbs of paper thrown. And you know who all get in? Are the only people who pick up the paper and get in. They don't care what you speak. They say how observant you are in that. That's one. Second, the training we get while we're graduating or while we're going into the industry is really harsh. I mean, really, really harsh. I mean, I'm very proud to say, and I never feel embarrassed to say that I'm the only person from the family who knows how to clean a bathroom well. And, you know, that really helped my wife in COVID, but I think, you know. But, you know, the art of saying that I'm there, in our industry, we cannot say no. We just cannot, because if you're saying no, there's somebody who's paid for your product and he's going to suffer. Like, let me come back, because you said key points, and let me come back to Tibbs, Frankie. We have catered to people, I mean, the concert which everybody couldn't get tickets. Coldplay, that's it. I mean, we have catered to Coldplay where my team was I mean, actually manhandled. There was lathi charge, there was everything. But these guys didn't move, including ladies. We have one of them in this room. Including them, they did not move, and they sold out what they had taken. And the next 3 days, I almost had to hospitalize them. Can you imagine, the men are making the Frankies behind and the ladies are talking to the guests? Because everybody in a concert is crazy, right? Like you rightly said, they're an enigma. And you know, my biggest asset is also becomes my biggest liability, is people say, Tibbs hai yaar, humko jaldi do, kya kar rahe ho? You know, what are you doing? It's a Frankie, I know how to make it. And they know the taste, so you can't mess up. So that's what keeps the team going. Also what keeps us going, especially chefs, is when you make something and somebody takes it and the first bite, that enigma in people's eyes. No? Like, I live for it. I really live for it. My team has been told all over India, you know, I come up in that big screen, and when I'm speaking to all those people I'm blessed, who work for me under my leadership, I tell them one thing, कि Frankie कभी यहाँ से मत बेचना, यहाँ से बेचना. So the key points for us and for the entire hotel industry, the food industry is, unless you have passion, don't think of this business. You know, when we launched our UK operations, I can, you know, whenever we share conversation, the first clipping is about, I realized that the local chefs there, being not used to the Indian palate, they were messing up. So we have a queue, we launched it and we were blessed, Babaji blessed us, and we had a queue of about 100 odd people waiting outside for a Tibbs Frankie in Harrow. And my chef messed up, and guess who went in and made the first 50 Frankies? Me. Because I was not willing to click pictures, and I was not willing to go on the social media and tell people, okay, yaar, Tibbs Frankie abhi UK aa gayi, first Indian brand and all that stuff. I was willing to say, bhai, wo jo pehle khada hai 15-20 minutes se, is he going to remember his childhood when he comes? And the same thing happened. I have to quote this, sorry, I have very little time, but I'm going to say this. The most touching moment of my life was, we have launched one of our stores at T2, Arrivals. It's at P6, I think it's at P6, right? So P6, I was standing there, and I normally don't tell people, you know, they ask me, Sarda ji, ab kya karte? I said, I'm a manager at Tibbs and all that. Because you need to know, na? So when I was standing there, there was a couple in their late 60s. The gentleman was being pushed by, you know, on his wheelchair, and there was 3 people, the family, and this gentleman, there were 7 of them, must be the head of a family who's come back after ages. They all came in, and there was a huge crowd coming towards Tibbs. And there is a ramp. So I just walked and I guided them, take him up the ramp. And he came there. He didn't speak. I said, sir, can I serve you anything? Obviously, it's courtesy. And, you know, we being Indian, Atiti Deva Bhava, you know. So I asked him, I said, sir, can I serve you anything? He's saying, Sardaji, 1 second. He ordered a mutton Frankie. He had that bite. He had the second bite. I could see tears flowing down his eyes. And I went to him. And you know what he tells me? He said, Aap Mr. Amarjit Tibb ke bete ho. Aap manager nahi ho. Then I had tears flowing down my eyes. And I said, sir, aapko kaise pata? He's saying, aapke dad bhi Kulaba mein jab unhone shuru kiya tha, aise khare hote the, aise guest ko dekhte the. And I've come back to India after 20 years, and the first thing I wanted to have was a Tibbs Frankie.
Wow, that's a story.
So that's the passion and the hard work which, you know, we've given, and my team, I'm very blessed to have a great team. You know, they never say no to me. And, you know, just to lighten up, I think I made the mood very emotional, so I lighten up. Anybody who joins me in my core team, I always write this word on the whiteboard, which says assume. And I put a cross between ASS, U, and ME.
And me, yeah.
And I always tell them, when you work for me, never do that, because you'll be making an ass of you and me.
Correct.
So that's the way, just to lighten you guys up. But yeah, before I end, I would like to thank each one of you all for loving Tibbs Frankie. And I am here because of you guys and all the people who love Tibbs Frankie. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It is time's up. I think it's amazing, and I didn't get a chance to get as much as I could from all of you. There's wealth of knowledge sitting here. But 2-3 things have happened here. I think we learned a few things for sure. Clap for that. Secondly, they kept the thing very interesting. I think there's so much of humor that can come in along with serious topics that it's helped all of us. And third, of course, I think the human side of each person is visible in this place. So thank you so much. Thank you for a lovely, lovely, lovely time. So.